Hello, everybody, and welcome to Galactic Wisdom. Now, we've been having severe technical difficulties this week. It's proving to be extraordinarily hard, even just to stay on Facebook, let alone try and do a live transmission on a live broadcast on Facebook. So I guess I'm talking to people that might not be watching this. I'm sorry if you're not able to be watching this right now, but we will try and set everybody up with being able to watch the recording of this, at least if you're not able to see this live. I would like to welcome A.L. Garris Andrea to the show today. Hello, Andrea. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, Holy One. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You only just made it on time because you were having technical difficulties also.
Crazy. I think 30 some seconds. That's what I had when I came in. They said 30 some seconds. Oh, wow.
Well, I see we have a few people watching us, so it's working. So fantastic. Now, A.L. Garris is the founder of Sacred Expansion and the origination of Acasma. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Acasma quantum energy, a higher dimensional healing and ascension modality here to assist humanity. Andrea is known as the Mother of Light and the woman who walks with angels.
Mhm.
Andrea is here to assist humanity as they remember more of who they really are as sovereign beings of light. A.L. is a master teacher, published author, motivational speaker, master healer, sound and frequency healer, and a star one in human form. What
Just
is
that.
this? What is a star one in human form?
Oh, it's an understanding I received. Yes. And first off, I do sometimes blurt out light language or languages that don't sound like anything in the human dialect. I also over accentuate vowel sounds. Everything is good. There's nothing wrong. It's just an incredibly big flux of energy. And yes, and also higher understandings come in. So it can sound somewhat or look somewhat as like a channel space as well. But my knowing is it's higher mind, higher heart, and we're all moving into this space, everyone in different increments. But the star one in human form is just, it's an understanding of who we truly are, in my humble opinion. All are allowed their own, viewpoint and belief structure, of course. But I came into this knowing that I am remembering and living from the higher vibrational space of myself, which is what we would in human terms call a star one, or you might call them an alien. But it's very natural, and a lot of people that I meet and work with, in fact, I'm going to be honest with you, Rupert, I think you are one as well. If I don't know how you feel on that, but when I met you in person and I, yes, connected with you, and it gets a little emotional sometimes because it's so divine and so beautiful. Yes, but it's just that it's a higher dimensional being, a higher space of ourselves. We're multi-dimensional beings. Yes, and as we're awakening, because that's what's happening, look around the world, right? As we're awakening, we're shifting vibrationally. We're changing our program belief structure. Therefore, our energy vibrational signatures opening. That alignment of opening is directly connected to that multidimensional self of us. Yes, and the higher self, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's the star one in human form.
Fantastic. I'm going to explain to our viewers. I was at a convention, a UFO Paranormal Convention, and I'm walking around this convention, and this is what I tend to do at conventions. I walk around and I just let my spirit walk in front of me, move in front of me, reach out and connect with people. I look at people as they walk past. I go to all of the booths. I have a look at these booths, and I just feel for who I have a connection with, who might be a being of light, somebody I can connect with and help us to save the planet and save people and do all these good things. And I'm walking around this convention and I'm not connecting with anybody. And then there you are, standing outside a lecture theatre, and you look at me, I look at you, and you ask me a question about when the lecture starts, and instantly I know, I've just met somebody. And within about 3 minutes, we're both crying and hugging each other, because you started to see the beings that are around me, and it seemed to be an emotional experience for you. Can you let us know, what was it that you saw?
Well, with you in particular, I saw these beautiful, tall, lengthy beings, but you're not limited to them. That's who were with you in that space right there. But you have a vastness of beings working with you. Most all do. But those particular ones were very tall. Yes. Now, there's energy running as I speak, and I offer grounding frequencies in just the conversation. There's a bunch of people right now that are picking this up, whether recorded or live, it doesn't matter. They're releasing from their solar plexus right now. So if anybody's feeling anything in the tummy, yes, it's just energy. Let it go, let it move. It's just you doing you. All right. Your beings that were with you there were very tall, long hands, long arms. I call them the tall ones. I don't know if this means anything to you or strikes a resonance with you. I work with them, and I have a direct connection with them as one as well. So, and I think you and I have that, because I started picking up on that even just, yes, in your presence, and then looking in your eyes. And it was just, it was way more than the physical you and physical me. There was a whole nother level going on. But I do this with people. When I meet people, I see them, yes, from what I call their divinity. So one thing I'm known for is when I meet people, I will say, hello, Holy One. And sometimes people are thrown by that, because maybe they're not used to, yes, being called that, or yes, even being aligned with that type of space. But they are that space. We are that space. Yes, rising, if you will, into that alignment of ourselves, or opening, maybe is even a better word, opening to that alignment of ourselves. But I could see them with you, and I didn't know what you do. I had no idea. I had no idea. I just thought you were this very nice person that I was meeting, and it was very easy to share with you in the space. Now, you were also connected with the actual space I was about to hold, and I didn't know that. Like, I thought that was pretty cool as well, that there was that connection made ahead of time, unbeknownst to our physical forms.
Yeah. And I was in there, because then you went into the lecture theatre, and you gave I'm not sure if you'd call it a lecture, a channeling.
It really wasn't. It was called a lecture, but I would agree it really wasn't a lecture.
What would you call that you did?
I think it was more of a reconnection activation. I think it was more of just, there was a, yes, like a recalibrated syncing of yes, energy of consciousness in each format that was there, in each human. Yes. So there was an individual space, yes, available for each one to reactivate and remember in whatever increment that works for them in that moment. And then at the same time, there was this unity consciousness of that collective of whoever showed up and was in that space. That formed a smaller collective of energy, yes, of consciousness. And so there was an activation, yes, anchoring, because of, yes, those that were there, that were sharing that space of understanding. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I've got a image here. I think this was from that event, and there is something that this video camera has caught there. And you've shown me, you've sent me a few of these images where, when you were doing what you do, there are orbs or spheres of light that seem to be associated with you. And there's a lot of images that I have here that have you with these orbs. Can you let us know what is going on here? What is that circle there?
All right, I'll do it from the space of my understanding now, and that is ever expanding, if you will. Yes. But the space of understanding now is these are spaces of us. Yes, from what we would understand as the future. But that's not a fully accurate term you would use with quantum understanding or quantum teaching. But they're spaces of us, in a sense, reaching through dimensions and time to assist us now. They are also in form that is not us, as in it's not Rupert and Andrea. It's yes, even if it's a space of our consciousness, it's a version of us. It's what we would understand is down the road in the. Does that make sense to utilize those words just to convey?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. There is an understanding of some of the smaller ones. People will think they are like, okay, you've seen some are very big, some are smaller, and there's all different shapes, which is really interesting and fascinating. So here's my take on it. You can't say smaller are one being and bigger are a collective, because it goes vice versa. I've seen small ones that were collectives, and I've seen large ones that were had the signature of one main being. But then I've seen large ones and I've known they were a collective. And I do get terms sometimes, but I also get this understanding that the more we label and identify, the more we kind of box ourselves a bit. Yes, that we're all right to label, but just allow the understanding that if you say this is the Palladian collective, which I have seen and understood, or an Arcturian, those are very common in my work. Yes, if you say that, just add in that there is that understanding and you're open to more. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think human beings, we struggle with this issue of what words we use. We see something, for example, some kind of non-human being, and some people will say, well, that's an angel. Some people will say, well, that's a demon. Some people will say, well, that's an extraterrestrial. And we're using language and concepts, ideas that we presently have in our vocabulary, in our minds. But the reality is, maybe we're not quite using those words correctly. Maybe they're transdimensional beings, transtemporal beings, or maybe we just don't have the words at all to use. I'm a space scientist. I like to have the right words to use. But I also, as a scientist, I understand I'm not going to latch on to something and say that's true unless I've had proof. But what you can know about these spheres, these orbs that you're seeing, are you able to interact with them in a way that you know that they have consciousnesses?
I would be able to say that the biggest confirmation or yes, experiential spaces that give us any knowledge of what this is really is in the very beginning, before I shared anything with the world, I had more communication personally. And it was an understanding of humanity shifting. This is what they told me. Humanity is shifting. Humanity is consciously changing. The species is evolving. And because of that, they are going to be processing an amount of vibrational energetic flow in their forms, in their bodies, that they have never processed before. And they needed me to understand that this work needed to come forth in order to provide understanding, teachings, guidance, and most importantly, grounding frequencies. That was like a key thing. And that when I make the videos, yes, and I create the content, whether it's 60 seconds on TikTok or Instagram, or whether it's an hour-long thing on YouTube or a course somebody takes, whatever it is, those grounding frequencies are flowing. And people are able to, they don't know exactly why they feel the way they feel when they're receiving whatever way they're connecting with me, but they have this innate sense of home, of love, of
Mm-hmm.
peace and safety. And it's something that at a depth they've never felt before. And that's part of the grounding. What happens when you ground, you become calmer. Are you following me here? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's part of that. So in the beginning, much was relayed to me, as in it was telepathic though. I guess that's what you call it. It's like I talk like I've gone to college for this, but this is all hands-on life experience. But it was just like I knew they were there, and then I could sense them and then somewhat see them, even out of the like peripheral in my room moving. And I felt my father's presence. He had been gone for quite some time. So I felt like, and I hadn't felt him till then. I mean, it had been over 20 years since he had passed away.
Wow.
But I felt my father's presence, which I thought was fascinating. And I think it was part of a safety for me. So like, her dad's going to come as well, because her dad's presence, that'll bring her understanding of safe and home. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So they opened the door that way. And then they conveyed the understanding of humanity and what I was going to bring forth. Yes. And then it was like over a few weeks' time, spread out. All of a sudden, I'd get extremely tired out of nowhere. And there was no real reason for it. And there was nothing health wrong with me. But it was this knowing, go lay down, go lay down. So I'd go lay down. And then I'd see them, and but they weren't in sphere form. They had a humanish form, like eyes and a face and all, but they were, my understanding through telepathy and just connecting with them and a knowing was they were higher dimensional beings. And we were, I and them, and the space was like in an interdimensional, connection point. And so they were able to, it wasn't like super easy. It was like a big deal to get that much of an alignment of resonance with energy to be able to convey, because they are so, what we would call, so much higher in vibration than us, if you will. But we're headed there, and they're helping us. We're helping us. So how I know, yes, that this is also working and there's confirmation of it is the students that take this courses. I have a free community. They come and they do a light grid with me once a month. I've done it since 2020. The people that come to that grid, the people that watch a TikTok or a YouTube or whatever it is, they write me, they reach out to me and they say, I experienced a miraculous healing, or my life shifted after that. I got out of a bad relationship. I got a better job, whatever it is. It's really, you can't box it, because energy doesn't say, I'm only going to shift this part. And if you shift energy in this, you shift energy in this, the reflection. Does this make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll stop for a minute, because I know I can talk.
That's okay. Now, I watched you for an hour doing your again, whatever it is. I'm not sure that I have the words. And sometimes, quite often, you use a language that appears to be some kind of a light language, or I'm not sure how to describe it. Could you explain, when you're talking in a language that is not English, what is that? Where's that coming from, and what does it mean?
Let me nutshell this huge, massive space of understanding. It is universe speaking to itself. When you hear me, in a sense, yes, you are hearing the spaces of yourself in universe. I'm conveying, I'm a bridge. We call it light language. If you were in a church, in most religions, you'd call it speaking in tongues. Some people call it soul messages. Yes. Yes. But in those words, there's this, it moves energy. It opens energy. It restores spaces, reactivates spaces, reconnects dormant spaces, if you will. It's limitless. I can tell you the things I know it does, but then I'd say again, be open that it does even more than that. It's universal in the sense that if I speak to 50 people at one time in that language, and it varies, and I call it a cosmo consciousness. It sounds very earthy. It sounds, yes, sometimes like I'm a Native American shaman if I really get going into that zone space of it. Yes, but it's grounding frequencies, it's moving energy, it's unlocking and activating remembrance in who is listening. And 50 people will hear completely differently, because it's not, people will say, what exactly did you say? It's what you heard. Yes, or what you felt that is more important than me trying to pick it apart and say and give it a definite relative word for word language. It's so beyond that. It's so beyond that. And there's clearing in the solar plexus again. That's good. See, this is my knowing. When I work with people, and this is it, you're here, you're watching this, you're connecting with this, right? This is available to you. It's not forced on you. It's your free will. And then you choose what you do with it afterwards as well, which is very important. That's called implementation. But the clearing in the solar plexus is a sign that you are allowing the older programmed and belief structures you've carried as a regular everyday human, as we all have been, you're allowing them to, yes, clear and then reset into this that matches more the consciousness of what we're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to pause for a second because we have a lot of comments here. First of all, I would like to let people know that if you're on Facebook, some of your comments are coming through without your names. It just says Facebook user. I don't know why we can see some people's names and not other people's names. There's technical difficulties going on today, but I do want to say hello to a few of our friends who are out there. Melissa, thank you very much for being here. Good to have you with us. Diana, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm scrolling down. There's a lot of comments, but there's only a couple of people's names that are popping up. Oh, that's intelligent. There you go. Thank you for being here, Raphael. For identifying yourself in your comment. That's
job.
very helpful. And a few people are saying hello, Rupert, but I don't know who you are. But but we're very grateful to have everybody here with us. I'm just going to give a little bit of news about me for anybody that's interested. If anybody likes the kind of content that I'm putting on this show, first of all, there's 2 or 3 things I'd like to suggest that you do. This show is being streamed from KGRA Digital Broadcasting, and it's such an amazing network, and I would like to do a little bit of promoting of that. Our producer, Bill, is phenomenal. He works so hard and not under easy conditions a lot of the time, especially with all this technical stuff. I encourage people to join the KGRA network, to have a small monthly subscription fee. And if you join the KGRA network, then put in when a promo code option comes up, put in the word Galaxy. Doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase, but put in the word Galaxy, and then you can skip through all of this Facebook crashing and technical difficulties, and you can watch me and probably 100 other hosts out there who are putting on some amazing stuff. So support KGRA. That's my first message. If you're interested in hearing more from me and what I'm talking about, please do consider joining our Facebook group. Somewhere up here, I've got some banners that I can put up on the screen, but oh, there they are. Galactic Wisdom. Okay. This is a place where you can join me, and I actually host events there during the week as well. Usually on Wednesdays, we do universal love meditations, universal peace meditations, manifesting positive change on our planet, and a whole host of different meditations and healing things we do there. So please consider joining us there if you would like to learn more. Andrea, even though we have in our event description, I think today, from where people are watching, some of your links, if people want to connect with you, what's the best place to connect with you?
They could go to my website, sacredexpansion.com. And then that would have links also to all my sites. So if they wanted to find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, there should be links available on the website itself, sacredexpansion.com. And there's also right on the front page, when you scroll just a teeny bit, there's a join our free community. So if anyone is interested or resonates with this energy, we have a beautiful community that we meet once a month on Zoom. And then we also, and it's, like I said, free. And then you all, we call a cosmopods of light. And so it's a lovely, we say, higher vibrational space of connection for humanity to connect with each other and allow the rise and have that type of connectivity with others that are in that resonance with you.
That is awesome. And you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I love my YouTube channel. Come over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I share a lot of content there, especially the videos with the beautiful beings of light. I also share a lot of teaching videos. The classes I teach are called Being the New Human, and then I have my course spaces as well. So it's quite a variety available on the YouTube channel. Meditations as well. So you could check it out and see if there's something there that you might resonate with as well. But it's all a cosma. That's my core. I know when I spoke with the beings and they shared everything, that I needed to maintain a unwavering dedication to that alignment. So I am the anchor of that alignment, and it's all a cosma, a cosma, a cosma.
What is a cosma?
I guess the go-to tagline is a cosma is a higher vibrational space of connection here to assist humanity. But it's so vast, because what I understand it as is these higher dimensional beings of light worked with me to, yes, create a way in which it could be packaged so that humanity's mind could be wrapped around something and then could implement through learning and trusting and allowing. So a cosma has the understanding of a way of life, yet living from knowing you're a higher dimensional being in a human form, understanding you're here for more than just what you might have been raised to believe you're here for, and that there's way more going on around us than what we quote see. Then there's a cosmic quantum energy, which is the healing modality and ascension modality. So some people like to learn it for themselves. Some people want to learn it to be a facilitator for others. Now I also have teachers all over the planet teaching it, and facilitators all over the planet. We're available in 7 languages. Yes. And yes, it's also for self sessions, people that they're like, I don't want to be a facilitator. I don't want to learn a course, but I'd like a session. A cosmic quantum energy it has energy keys. So people familiar with Reiki has energy keys. So a cosmic quantum energy has energy keys, which are just ways in which we open doors to the consciousness of that energy. And yes, a cosmic quantum energy reconnects the root lines of the being, which is huge because people have a lot of energy work done, or they learn different types of understandings. But because the body is processing so much new vibrational spaces of itself, it needs those root lines activated and strengthened and reconnected so it can anchor. And the Earth's energy is very important for the human to be connecting with as it's ascending, because the body needs that energetic connection with the Earth to be healthy, to house that light. And the solar plexus is doing it again. Just allow. But there's a lot of other reconnective spaces in a cosmic quantum energy. And yes, so the grid of light I do is in a cosmic quantum energy grid. I run it like, I mean, run it, like run the energy. Yes, as the people that feel drawn to this space, yes, they resonate with this energy. They come and they say, yes, I will be an anchor of that. I will be a pillar of that. And my YouTube channel has, well, 4 years, I think, of Acasma quantum energy grids, because we do one once a month. So you want to know what that's like, you can simply go watch it, and they're quantum. So even if you're watching one I did a year ago, you're going to be able to experience the reconnectiveness and the expansiveness energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally. Now it's dating and time don't matter. Universe and quantum don't get in their heads about that. Humans do. So yes, can I speak light language for just a moment? Yes.
Go ahead.
If everybody could just allow the space for one moment, just allow your breath nice and slow. Yes, nice and slow. Yarosoe ya tene iana kawakeya. Hukoko anea sawa. Iananea taohoaye. Iyaka ukua. Iyaka okoa neneawa. Utoeya. Utoeya taboa ye yananea. Yananea. Nanea. Beautiful. Just allow the breath for one moment. Yane, 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 yakaokoa. Beautiful. All right. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
You're very welcome. I hope this doesn't sound at all disrespectful, but I like the language that you're speaking, and it reminds me of the language they speak in the Avatar movies. I'm not sure that has any relevance at all, but I love those Avatar movies, and it sounds comparable.
You're not the first to say that. I've heard so many different things. Some people will say Avatar, some say Native American, some say there's other dialects that will come out of me, but some have said Lord of the Ring elfin language sometimes when I speak. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with all of them, the spaces, but I just allow and just hold the alignment and allow it to flow. So
that's fine. You clearly are able to perceive energies. Whether energy is the right word or not, but there's something, a flow of something with power, something with energy. And you talked of the importance of connecting with the earth.
yes.
Now, I don't know a lot about this subject, so I'm not sure if this question will sound uninformed or not. But a lot of people talk about the importance of connecting to the earth by going outside, taking off your socks and shoes, and actually being on the ground. Sometimes we live our lives, a lot of our lives, in cars that are raised up above the ground, in homes that are raised up, so you're not actually touching the ground. Do you think that dampens our connection to the ground, to the planet, to our environment? Do you think it's healthy to get outside sometimes and just sort of roll around on the floor?
Absolutely. Before I got to where I am right now, and I was just starting to really shift and wake up more, if you will, I was a very regular based type lifestyle. Like if I went on vacation, I went to an amusement park and bought junk stuff and rode on rides, and all of a sudden I was craving the Grand Canyon, and I'm like, the Grand Canyon, like, you know. And then I found out about Sedona. I didn't even know it existed. I wasn't like, it just wasn't my world back then, you know. But now, of course, everybody I meet in the world of spirituality and energy work knows of Sedona, but I had never heard of it. And yet I was craving to go out to these spaces. And the first year before I brought any of this forth, before I really got even the telepathic communications, I was dabbling in connecting, like I think they call it C5 or something, where
CE5.
you say where you're at and you do that work your way out thing. Okay. So I was doing some of that, and I did have 2 times I saw a ship come in, different ship to different times. But I was just beginning to enter into this space, and for like a year, it was like I unplugged from what I was doing my whole life. Like, I couldn't get enough of trees. I wanted to be by trees. I wanted to walk, like if I walked down the regular road in front of my house, asphalt, whatever, it didn't matter. I wanted to try to get near trees. And my being was craving it. I really think everything that I offer in the teachings and the activations and the attunements, I think they were doing to me, and they were utilizing the earth, the trees, the earth energy, but the teams of light were like reconnecting me. They were reactivating me. And then once they got me to where I could hold what I needed to hold, they were like, okay, now you take it and let's give it out to all those that are ready. But this earth thing, the grounding is, it's proven. There's all kinds of scientific studies that have been done where the grounding heals all kinds of ailments in the body just by walking on the earth and having contact, the blood caked up prior to the people walking around barefoot, and then they take the blood after they walk around barefoot, and everything's moving and grooving in a different flow. The grounding that happens in this Acasma quantum energy is like taking the physicality, energetic connection of grounding as we've known it and are knowing it now. It's like taking that and popping it up into a higher dimensional way of doing it. So they're both important because we're in human form. So we need to get out. We need to get underneath the tree. We need to walk in the grass if we can. But at the same time, even if we can't, because some people live in certain spaces of the world where that's not optimal, they live in a big city, they're in a high rise, whatever it is. This work, and I'm sure there's many other modalities available, but I'm here to talk about what I know and what I do. This work offers us the ability to have an earth reconnection through our consciousness, which is pretty freaking cool. So whether you're sitting in a room, in the 17th story of a building of New York, or whether you're, in a cabin in Colorado, or you're wherever you are, it doesn't matter. This reconnection space with the root lines, it's the first part of an Acasma quantum energy session. If you ever have a session, you go to your facilitator, that's the first thing they're going to do, is they're going to activate the reconnection of the root lines. If you're having a session for the second time, they're going to bless that. They're going to expand that because you're ready incrementally to hold more of you. But it's grounding on an entirely new level. Yes. And it's the grounding that we are ready for because of this new level of consciousness we are holding and we are being. So, there's a lot more I could go in on that, but yeah. I think that's enough for that topic. I engage myself on each topic.
That's awesome. There's little bits and pieces there that make my mind go off on slight tangents, I suppose. I like to go out and host alien contact events, and usually when I do that, it's out in nature somewhere. Really just to get away from people, roads, cities, so that there's more chance of something coming to us in a non-exposed way. And people come into those events. Really, their purpose is to connect with these high dimensional beings. But at the same time, when they get out of the city and they find themselves in nature, that hits so many people, how beautiful nature is.
Yes.
And you can be in a city that is somehow impressive, majestic, possibly, but I'm not sure that really cities are beautiful in the same way that nature is. We feel that, we know that on an emotional and a spiritual level. And one of the great things about doing what I do when I go out and do these alien contact events is being in nature and feeling that energy flowing through you and with you. And the other thing, which is not something we've really talked about here, but at my events, we really connect with each other as well. People connecting with people, which is really, with all these people on the planet, it's ridiculous that we're not connecting with each other in a more real way. Sure, we've got social media and there's hundreds or thousands of people there's billions of people out there you can connect with, but being Facebook friends with somebody or having followers or following somebody, that's not the same as being next to them in person and having that energy flow directly and seeing the smile on their faces and being able to shake hands with people and hug people. And I actually, for again anybody that's interested, I live in California, and mostly I tour around the US. But the last week of this month and next week of next month, I'm going to be in Europe. I'm going to be hosting meditations in Stonehenge, Rendlesham Forest, which is quite a cool place. That's one of the biggest UFO sightings occurred in England, in Rendlesham Forest in 1980. I'm not sure exactly where yet. I need to do a little bit of research, but I'm going to host a alien contact event somewhere around Calais. And there's other places, I can't remember where they all are. But if anybody listening here is in England, we're going to do one in Wales. This might not be a very high, bright spiritual energy, but if you've ever seen the American Werewolf in London movie, that opening scene where they're walking through the moors, well, that's a place in Wales that I'm going to host an event at.
Beautiful.
Can I ask you, Andrea, do you feel like you have a mission? Do you have a clear direction, a goal somewhere where you're going or where you're taking people?
I do, but I hold a neutrality with it. So I understand my purpose and the space of being an anchor of this availability of assistance with reconnection and with remembrance. But I also, and it's a blessing completely because it's all right for me if someone, listens and hears and receives, but then maybe isn't ready. It's a not yet, or they need to experience certain spaces of themselves in certain ways before they're ready. So it's very freeing to be able to offer, but offer with no preconceived attachment to what anybody does with it. My steps are all my steps, and theirs are theirs. So I have a mission, and I think those who resonate deeply and feel that type of connection with me, I think those are the ones that are already like they remember, and they already know they're part of this space. And then the rest are part of other spaces that are so important and so valuable, because I believe no one modality, no one way of being, no one individual person is here to have to do it all. I think the key is that we're learning to be a collective. We're learning to understand ourselves as a unit. We're learning to be the unit, to allow the unity. And yes. So yes, I believe I have a mission and a purpose, but I just feel it's important to make note of our ability to hold neutrality, even with missions and purposes.
Yeah, I agree. The concept of the collective and unity, those are big, important concepts. And, this show is about galactic wisdom. Wisdom on a very just beyond human level, beyond physical level. What I see as our future becoming for those of us who are trying to evolve, who are trying to ascend, who are really caring about moving forwards into the future in a positive way, is moving towards a collective. Now, a lot of the societies we live in are classified as individualistic rather than collectivistic. We're taught to be strong by yourself. You don't need anybody. You've got to get your own, do this by yourself. It's we're conditioned to being solitary in many, many ways, in ways that I think are often very unnatural. But if we look at the beings that are out there, some of these higher dimensional beings, they are connecting in ways that we haven't yet got to. They're telepathic, they're empathic, they feel each other's feelings, they think each other's thoughts, they operate in a far more harmonious way that is moving them towards. It's not rejecting the individuality, that the positive aspects of diversity, but it is embracing everything that everybody is in a way that is unconditional and loving. And I feel that's where some of us are going into the future. I don't know how many are going to make it, but in our futures, I think that's a goal. That's a place that I think we can aspire to get to. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I feel the same way. And I love that about the work we're doing with Acasma quantum energy. It's based in unity consciousness with the understanding of individuality, which is so cool because a lot of people think unity consciousness means everybody thinks the same thing and wants to do the same thing, but it isn't. Unity consciousness is the understanding of the one within the many, and allowing all the many variation points to be those variations, because that's how vast the one is. And so, yes, I think that's, I agree with you completely there. And I feel like that's another thing that I see us doing is these beings, the telepathy, the energy work they're doing on us. A lot of the times in our session spaces with Acasma, they work with higher dimensional technology. So we'll see them bringing in, yes, devices that are clearly not from our, time frame or whatever, and they're extremely fast. Like whatever's done to either a physical ailment or a mental ailment or even just an energetic shift, you're talking minutes, maybe 60 at the most, but somebody has a 30-minute or 60-minute space with this, and it's so fast. A lot of times too, it's just because I believe the unity consciousness thing is so important, and it's so connected with this. This is how we be that. We have these interactions with these spaces of higher dimensional beings that are able to bridge. Like we're able to, it's because it's all, for me, my understanding is it's all energetic resonance. So they can get to a certain point. What we would understand is this, but that's not really perfect. But like they can, and we're just getting into this alignment space where it's enough where there can be an engagement of alignment. But when I always tell my people this, the people that work with me in Acasma, the family of Acasma, I say, we are becoming the beings that are assisting us. We are becoming the higher dimensional beings of light in human form. The more we own it, the more we entertain it. They say, oh, what's the most important thing I could do? Somebody say, what can I take away from what this woman's talking about here today? What Rupert's sharing here today? What can I take away from this? The more you think about unity consciousness and imagine it and allow yourself to entertain the thought, yes, the more you expand its opportunity and availability to you and to all in your collective. That we're so powerful, and we're getting an idea of this more and more, and we're implementing more and more, and we're dropping these programmed belief structures that most of us were just given. We didn't ask for, we didn't sign up for, but they were placed in us, like somebody coming to the computer at work and entering all the programs in. Yes. And now we're in a space where we're finding these programs and we're uninstalling, Yes. And then we're installing the new one, the understanding we do hold from this higher space of our being and our knowing. But unity consciousness is all wrapped up in that, yes, allowance on our part, which is not only an opportunity, but it is a responsibility of a conscious human to implement the understanding of itself as a higher dimensional being in a human form, remembering who it is.
Wow, it's deep stuff, isn't it?
But so fun. It's so fun.
It's very fun, and it's very rewarding, you know, to be on this journey. Certainly my experience is on this journey, I meet people like you. I meet people like the people who are making comments here, and I've seen all the comments. I apologize, I'm not responding to all of them, but I'm meeting almost on a daily basis the most beautiful, high frequency beings of light, kind, caring, considerate, empathic people who understand that moving towards collective way of thinking, collectivistic way of thinking, is what we need as a planet. And it's a beautiful journey to be on, to be connecting with these humans and also with the non-humans that are out there. So we are at the end of today's show. We've run out of time. But Andrea, I would like to thank you so very much for being with us. It has been a pleasure to talk to you. I could probably keep on talking to you for another hour. If you wouldn't mind just staying on after the music, the outro music stays, I'd appreciate that. And I would like to thank everybody who is out there watching, listening, tuning in. Please consider joining KGRA. Please consider going to Andrea's website. What's the name of it again?
sacredexpansion.com.
Thank you. Please consider joining my Facebook group, Galactic Wisdom. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody who's listening. Thank you all so much. Take care. Goodbye.